Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
Bron Breakker defeats Penta.
Jade Cargill defeats Roxanne Perez in a semi-final of the Queen of the Ring.
Becky Lynch defeated Bayley via DQ and therefore retains her Intercontinental Championship.
Cody Rhodes defeated Jey Uso in the semi-final of the King of the Ring.
Now, if you want to know what actually happens...
Morgan's out for months.
Goldberg's retirement match is a title match at Saturday night's main event. Unless he wins. And then what?
And Kross has a match at Night of Champions.
What? Seth and co burn it down to begin with, and while they're making their way out, we see Corey Graves still on comms and find out that LA Knight is out indefinitely after the multiple tsunamis he took from Reed on SmackDown. Seth names a few names, saying the crowd don't know what they want as they cheer for everyone, Reigns, Punk, Rhodes and himself. He then turns to Heyman and says whenever there's a revolution, there's always opposition. And if that opposition forces his hand, he'll deal with it. And that's what happened to LA Knight. Everyone else is running a race for second place, with Seth then pointing to the Money in the Bank briefcase and saying this is the end game. I wonder if that's going to be the name of the revolution.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Why not?
Penta versus Bron Breakker is the first match of the night. And as we come back from a break, we see Penta taking down Breakker with a head scissors followed by a crossbody and his headstand corner move. Breakker starts to turn things around, first tossing Penta about and then running the ropes and clotheslining the luchador out of his boots.
Penta mounts a comeback, diving out the ring at the dog, but we then hit a break, come back and find both men over the announcer's desk. We then see a replay of Breakker leaping from the apron and taking out Penta, who was sitting on the announcer's table. Back in the ring, Breakker gets a 2 after dropping Penta onto his knees from a gorilla press, with Penta replying with a bridging suplex cover for 2.
Bron then halts a Mexican destroyer, with Penta retreating to the top rope. Only Breakker follows, hits a Frankensteiner and covers for 2. Penta then finally manages to hit his Mexican destroyer after DDTing Breakker and covers for 2. Penta goes back to the drawing board and decides to springboard, but as he's about to land his move, Breakker spears him mid-air, covers and then picks up the win. After the match, Seth gives Penta one warning to stay out of his way.
We learn that Liv Morgan will be out for several months after sustaining a dislocated shoulder on last week's Raw, then head backstage to see Adam Pearce with AJ Styles. Pearce tells Styles that Dirty Dom is injured and that their title match at Night of Champions is off. Styles thinks Dom is ducking their match, but Pearce insists he isn't and that AJ is still first in line when he's back. As Styles exits, in walks the New Day with Grayson Waller. Pearce has news for them. They have a match next week against Finn Balor and JD McDonough with the titles on the line. New Day storm out, with Waller then telling Pearce not to treat his mates like that.
We see part of an interview Michael Cole had with Goldberg from earlier in the day, with Goldberg saying he felt embarrassed with the way that Gunther spoke to him when he brought his family to watch Raw all those months ago. Goldberg mentions retirement match, with this presumably it, and vows to make Gunther pay. But we all know you don't win your retirement match, do you? We then go back to ringside with Cole confirming that the World Heavyweight title will be on the line for the Goldberg-Gunther match, and that it will be indeed Goldberg's last match. That is unless he wins the title, of course.
Now what's he going to do? Retire with the title? Wait a minute, isn't somebody else doing that? We head to the Judgment Day den next, with Balor giving everyone a pep talk, telling Dom he'll beat Styles when he's fit, Perez she'll beat Cargill and go on to win Queen of the Ring, JD that he and Balor will win the tag titles next week, and that Raquel Rodriguez needs to be the enforcer we know, goading her to deal with Rhea Ripley.
Backstage, we see Bayley getting a pump on while Laura Valkyria has a word with her. Lyra wishes Bayley luck. As she does, you see Becky Lynch in the background heading towards the pier, but then soon turning around and heading off in the other direction. Bayley and Lyra are fine with things, with Bayley saying Lyra will get first shot at the IC title should she win later.
Next up, Jade Cargill versus Roxanne Perez in the semi-final of Queen of the Ring. Perez dodges in and out of the ring to begin with, and then whenever she does try a move, Cargill is able to overpower her and toss her to one side. Perez rolls out the ring with Cargill following, but to her demise as Perez attacks Cargill by drop-kicking her leg on the ring steps.
When we come back from the break, we're back in the ring with Perez focusing on Cargill's injured leg and then locking in a sleeper. Perez lets go and goes high, but Cargill catches her mid-air and then goes on the offense, planting Perez with a spinebuster. Jade licks Roxanne's face, nice, and then hits a chokeslam and covers for 2. Perez counters Jade into a victory roll, with Jade kicking out on 2, and then covers Jade again for another 2 after landing her cartwheel knees to the back of her head.
Perez then goes for pop rocks, but Cargill gets her off, drops her with a big boot, and then follows up with a powerbomb and Jaded. Cargill covers, Cargill wins. Cargill will be facing Asuka in the final of the Queen of the Ring. After the match, Cargill poses by the crown, with Asuka then heading out, just so we can get this shot.
We see Sheamus having an awkward chat with the Alpha Academy and Natalya. It just didn't really flow.
Awkward.
When in steps Rusev. The 2 former League of Nations members have a bit of a back and forth, with Rusev calling himself a god and Sheamus a snake. Sheamus tells Rusev it's time to put up or shut up.
Out next, Gunther. He says Goldberg was the most destructive man of his generation, but it's not 1999 anymore. Ah, the good old days. Anyway, it's now 2025 and Gunther is the guy. Gunther adds that Goldberg can't lace his boots, apologises to his wife and son for what he's going to do to him at Saturday night's main event, and then vows to embarrass him again.
Backstage, Jackie Redmond asked Becky Lynch about her thoughts on Bayley, with Lynch saying that Bayley and Lyra are conspiring against her. She then says she's said too much already and heads off. Redmond then catches up with Sami Zayn and asks how he's processing his loss on SmackDown. As he's about to answer, in walks Karrion Kross. After basically saying I told you so about losing to Orton, Kross tells Sami he'll never be world champion. Sami then drops Kross with a right hand and tells him that he spoke to Pierce and their match is official. Sami walks off with Scarlett telling Kross to stop it. Kross laughs and says, "Got him."
Out now, Bayley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We have a disarmer attempt followed by a rose plant attempt and then head out the ring and back in, only for Bayley to end up back out the ring just before the break after Becky pulled her from the top rope by her arm. From the break, we see Bayley taking down Lynch with clotheslines, suplexes, a running knee and side slam. The follow-up cover netting her a 2.
Bayley looks for the disarm her, but Lynch counters into a belly to back, with Bayley then countering the manhandle slam into a Bayley to belly and cover for 2. The 2 have a breather, but Bayley's soon back on it with a sunset flip powerbomb on Lynch into the corner, covering again for 2. Bayley tries to finish it by climbing to the top rope, but Lynch gets up to her and hits a superplex.
After a pin and disarmer attempt from the man, Bayley locks in a half crab on Becky, only for Lynch to make the ropes. The 2 then have a hit off in the middle of the ring, with Bayley manhandle slamming Lynch. Lynch rolls out the ring to escape the impending cover, with Bayley following. Bayley ends up over the announcer's desk and then he's buried under chairs by Lynch, who's looking for the win via count-out.
Only Valkyria appears and starts to remove the chairs from Bayley. As she does, Lynch heads back out, hits Lyra and re-enters the ring. Lyra gets on the apron with Lynch goading her to attack, as she knows the match will be over if she does. Bayley comes to, pulling Lyra from the apron, with Lynch then baseball sliding at the pair. Lyra takes it while Bayley avoids it and throws the IC champion over the announcer's desk.
Bayley tosses Becky around the outside of the ring before throwing her back into the ring and climbing to the top rope, readying for her Macho Man elbow. But before she has a chance to drop it, Valkyrie gets in the ring and starts hammering away at Lynch. Of course, the bell is rung and the match is over. Bayley and Valkyrie argue in the ring after the match, but nothing serious happens. Now, as I said a week or so ago, this is lining up nicely for a prediction of, well, my prediction of a triple threat match between the three of them for the IC title at Evolution. As I say, they've been circling around one another. Why not make Evolution interesting? Stick all three in an IC title match.
Yeah.
That would be hard to predict.
Yeah.
But why not?
Backstage, we see Chad Gable telling Ivy Nile she should have won Money in the Bank and found herself as Queen of the Ring. And the next time she has someone in her way, she should wipe them out completely. Gable then notices Penta and threatens to remove his mask. Penta doesn't take kindly to this and super kicks the former Olympian, followed by the sacrifice. As backstage hands head over to break it up, you can see Kaiser in the background looking on.
In the ring next, Raquel Rodriguez, and to cut a long story short, she calls out Rhea Ripley. Mommy answers the call, gets straight in the ring, and then we watch as the two smash the shiz out of one another. Rhea's just about to put Raquel through a table via a riptide, but Perez comes to the rescue and saves her. After dealing with Perez, Rhea looks to boot Rodriguez, but Rodriguez counters into a Tahina bomb, putting Rhea through the table. Raquel then helps up Perez as we head to a break.
We see Rhea storm into Adam Pearce's office demanding a match against Rodriguez. Pearce says, sure, let's make it a street fight as well. This will be played out at Night of Champions.
Last match of the night, Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso in their semi-final match for King of the Ring. The winner faces Randy Orton at Night of Champions. We start with a handshake, then get underway. Nothing exceptional to begin with. Cody gets technical, then tries a crossroads, with Jey escaping and looking for a super kick, which Cody dodges. Jey yeets as we hit a break.
We come back to see Jey locked in a figure four, but he manages to reach the ropes. A Samoan drop by Jey then gets him a 2 count, with him then following up with a hip attack and Uso splash from the top rope. Cody gets his knees up though and puts Jey in a Kimura lock. Jey gets out and puts Rhodes in a sleeper, but Rhodes manages to dump Jey over the top rope.
Jey climbs up to the top rope, with Rhodes bringing him back down with a superplex just as we hit a break. When we come back, the two are exchanging blows and moves, with Jey scoop slamming Cody and going for a crossroads. Rhodes, though, counters with a knee to the head and lands a Cody cutter, covering for 2. Rhodes goes for the disaster kick, but Jey ducks it and spears the former champ, again covering for 2.
We then get a super Cody cutter after falling a spear, with the cover once again getting 2. Jey reverses a crossroads into his own crossroads and covers for 2, with him then following up with 2 super kicks and a spear. Jey lines up a splash, but Rhodes gets up to him. The powers of recovery this guy has.
Unbelievable.
And drops him with another cutter from the top rope.
1 crossroads later, and it's all over, as Cody covers and gets the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Jey and Rhodes hug it out, with Raw going off the air as they acknowledge the crowd. I'm glad Jey didn't kick out of that. Not that I wanted Rhodes to win, but he's hitting with a super Cody cutter off the top rope.
Yeah.
And then he's hitting with a crossroads.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jey, you ain't getting up.
Yeah,
if you'd have got up from that, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, fair play. Rhodes, Orton. I've said Orton all along. I know some people say Rhodes. Well, we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much covered everything in there. As in, we gave our opinions as we were talking about things. Cargill, I'm a little surprised she won her semi-final. I thought Perez might have won.
I think it could have gone either.
But again,
I don't mind her winning. So.
No. Either way, I think it's time she had she's had the tag titles. Time for a single shot, maybe, or something, or stick her in the US, or I don't know. But
Any thoughts or views that you may have and want to share with us, then please feel free to pop them down in that comment section below.
As always, if you have watched, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it.
And we'll see you Wednesday for a look at this past week in WWE. Keep an eye out for our predictions for Night of Champions. And we'll see you Saturday as we take a look at SmackDown.